Prepare your ass for a special announcement. How do you feel about cancer? No! Fuck you! Nobody likes cancer. That's why we're doing a 24-hour live charity stream to donate to cancer charity. March 23rd, 2024 at 8 a.m. to March 24th at 8 a.m. There'll be video games, board games, special challenges, live donations, and merch giveaways. Mark your calendars and be there or go fuck yourself. Delutython! 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 Live on youtube.com/@DelutyPod.
Don't look under the internet.
I will be the first to say that not a single word of any of the things that have just been said will be making it into the main episode. So if we just want to start all over, that would probably
I got
be
an idea.
best.
So speaking of things that sound weird, I had one of my employees do very well, and I got feedback from someone, and they said that they are the top banana. And I didn't know how to feel after they said that, so I just said, thank you.
Top banana implies that there is a submissive bottom banana.
It really does.
They do know the tub monkey.
Tub monkey, yeah. No, but I forget what we were watching, but someone was like scrubbing a monkey. It was a cartoon. They're like scrubbing a monkey in a bath. And I'm like, look at that Tub Monkey. I'm like, that's a fantastic band name, Tub Monkey.
No,
I would listen to them.
we have to stay far away from that.
That is a band that came straight out of Alabama, is what that is.
That's worse than chintzy.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of things that sound like racial slurs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just was like, that's hilarious. That sounds like a band name. I forget what the other band name I came up was. It was like Jockstrap Terror or something like that. We have a whole list of them. I'll have to get this
That's
list.
just jock itch.
Welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet. That's Mike.
I think we're back in.
We're back in, baby. That's
hi,
me.
That's Matt.
That's Matt.
And that's Jason.
I'm Jason.
We're going to avoid everything that I said before, I guess.
Sure
Yeah, we're not even
fucking
going to
are.
bring it up.
I'm feeling good today, boys. I'm feeling alive. I'm feeling well. New job training is going fantastic.
Oh, that's right.
He's bad at it.
I'm bad. I'm horrible. Just horrible.
Is Doug your boss?
Technically, not yet, but will be soon. And then the fun thing is,
Oh, please
Whenever
give him
Doug
just
writes-
the worst reviews.
that's what I'm saying. I'm so excited for the day that it's like a Tuesday and I'm working, and Doug's like, "Hey, man, I gotta write you up for this." And then he comes to my house an hour later.
What up, bro?
Yeah, with a clipboard. He's like, "Hey, I didn't have time during the workday to do this." So
I'm going to do sign this.
he just gives me a performance plan on the show.
Oh, my God.
Welcome to Galooty After Dark, where I write up Michael for his improvement errors.
I'd listen to that shit.
Michael lost us a
Absolutely.
customer today.
No, so this, speaking of, I don't have a segue.
I saw
don't
the
have a
gears.
bird
Speaking of, part 2.
Deludy,
Cog was
housekeeping.
like,
All right, we do.
Clap
housekeeping
above your
Heat.
head.
Your house
Ing.
clean.
kept.
Just
Yeah.
keep it.
Keep your house kept.
We don't
have a
We
house.
don't have any new people this week, right?
We don't have any
Said
new
that.
people, but we have another announcement that we want to make.
Announcement.
Are you
Announcement.
ready to make it? You sound
Okay.
like you got some.
I'll just do it.
Do you want me to make it? No, you want Matt to do
Yeah.
it?
So
That's fine.
last year around this time, and I think we've already mentioned this before, we did charity month in February. So for the whole month of February, we did where if you go to the website or if you go to Buy Me a Coffee and you send us money, we take all that money at the end of the month and we donate it to a charity. This month, we didn't get around to announcing that in time, or this February, we didn't get around to announcing that in time. So we pushed it back to March. And so by the time you're hearing this episode, March has already started. So for the entire month of March, if you go to Deludy.com or you go to Buy Me a Coffee /DeludyPod and you give us money, we're going to take all that money at the end of the month. And
And we're not gonna donate
I'm
it.
joking. Yeah, and then we're just gonna keep it. And so that's the end of housekeeping. No. So last year we did fundraising in support of our patron Zane, who passed away. This year we're gonna honor Mama Doug, who passed away around the same time. So we're gonna let Doug pick a charity in her honor, and we're gonna take all that money and we're gonna donate it in her memory. And then towards the end of the month, we're gonna have a special event that's going on, and we'll probably have more details about that next week. So stay
Yeah, you
tuned for that.
can look at our socials. We'll probably end up announcing our whatever we do at the end of the month through socials before you would hear it on an episode. So
By the time this episode comes out, more than likely we'll have a better grasp on what's going on at the end of the month. But
yeah, we're just crossing some T's and dotting some I's at the moment. But yeah, it should be a fun little surprise for everyone.
we're finally doing the Diluti OnlyFans. There it is. You want to see some real peens and beans? You'll head
Real
over to
fax
OnlyFans.com.
Yeah, we got a backlog of fax holes to send to people.
been
We've
waiting.
been
That is
collecting
true.
for 3 years.
Doug's been taking a picture every day.
And his ass has gotten worse looking over the
well, he,
years.
has, he
I
told
don't
us he
know,
wasn't going to. He said to me point blank, he said, while I'm doing this, I will not be wiping.
Yeah, I have not wiped once
So
for a year.
it's, you guys are in
That's
control of how
gross.
clean Doug's asshole is.
It leaves like kissy prints when I sit places.
Anyway,
so.
that's
Hell
the end
yeah.
of Diluti housekeeping.
All right. We've
I don't
lost some
wanna
people
keep
in the
this
Discord.
going.
We've
So
kept the
Yeah,
house.
let's get into it, shall we?
let's get out of here then.
the only good part of your ass is the meat.
The ass
Mm.
meat.
Ass.
I do have a meaty
meaty ass.
caboose.
And that's going to get us over to
The
my
meat
bird
caboose.
scooter, which is part 2 of meat. It's what's for
Meat
dinner.
life.
Meat. It's
Vita Carnis.
Vita Carnis. Where did we leave off last week? Do we want to do a TLDR?
yeah, sure. We basically went through all the different living organisms.
All the way up
Pretty
to the
much.
orb.
Yeah, we covered trimmings, meat steaks, mimics, harvesters,
Crawl.
the host of influence,
Crawl, yeah.
monoliths, the crawl, the original, the OG,
OG sex
Carnis, the OG sex pervert. We mentioned something called the singularity, which is
Very briefly.
very briefly. And then I ended the night with a cook-at-home kitchen cheese crawl penne cook-along, where we
so
watched
gross.
them use a thing called well, I guess it's just
The flavor
a
enhancer.
flavor,
Yeah.
flavor enhancer, to cook some crawl with a little pasta.
Mm-mm-mm.
And that boyos is where we ended.
That dish needed like a side salad or some sort of freshness to
Something.
make it pop. It didn't really have much going for it.
Yeah, that's true.
It did look a little rough.
It made me
That's
want
for
to
sure.
Slim Jim.
Time to Slim Jim.
So, with that being said, where do we start off with part 2?
Well, part 2, we're going to start off with episode or video 9, I guess. And from here, so everything that we listened to up until this point was almost like it's almost like a video encyclopedia about these different creatures that popped up on Earth a while ago and like what their purpose is, where they live, what they do, what you should do if you encounter one, etc. From here, we start delving more into like the singular instances of people like owning a pet that is one of these like meat trimmings things. And that's what actually the next video that we go into. It's called
Hate this video.
It's so fucking uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. But it's called Guide to Owning a Pet Trimming. It's about 5.5 minutes long. And it's, I mean, in true analog horror fashion, it starts with like the VHS glitches and like the warped audio of somebody talking to you. And it's this lady basically saying like people all over the place own pets. Some like the furry, cuddly ones, some like the cute ones, but some like the abnormal ones. And then it starts to go over this whole guide about how to own a pet trimming, which if you remember are those little meatballs that grow on the crawl and then they fall off and they turn into the most useless animal known to mankind. They essentially screech a whole bunch. They don't eat anything. Their whole purpose
No,
is
they just eat trash.
They eat trash. That's right.
They just eat the
They eat
scraps around
trash.
your home.
Trash.
Other
Like they
than that,
literally are like, oh, you want to feed it? The perfect meal for it is like, it's like
boxes
It's,
and cans and
it's
shit.
like no, they have like eggshells
Oh,
and like
yeah,
wrappers.
compost.
Yeah,
like compost shit. But yeah, so they eat like compost and garbage and just stuff that nobody wants. Aside from that, they scream a bunch, and they are the very, very bottom of the food chain, such as they're below rabbits, which means I think rabbits eat these things.
I've seen a pissed off rabbit once. You don't fuck with a rabbit.
You don't.
Those things can hurt.
Got
and bite
sharp
and kick.
teeth and they jump real high.
They can eat through surprisingly tough things too. Rabbits used to eat through like the plastic lattice underneath my mom's deck, which is actually like super thick. You wouldn't think they'd be able to. They got some choppers, boy.
Let's not forget the movie.
They're practically beavers.
Night of the Lepus.
Oh,
the giant rabbits.
The loop, land of loop, the
Lupus.
I think it might be Lepus. I think it might be
Yeah,
Lepus.
right. With
I
the
think it-
giant,
yeah.
the giant bunnies. That movie fucks. I saw it on TV and it scared the shit out of me.
There's
You
a
have
there's a
weird-
really
This was
bad
yesterday.
movie. If I remember correctly, it's called Easter Bunny Kill Kill, and it is bad.
Oh,
It's really
The
bad.
title didn't give that away.
It's just
Yeah.
kill a
It's
kill,
worth the watch, but-
everybody's the
Kill a
Easter
kill. Yeah. So we get this video and it goes over like how you take care and maintain these meat trimming pets. It gives you a temperature between 18 and 20 degrees Celsius, which is pretty average. But literally it says if you want to make this thing comfortable, just toss a fucking box on the floor with some blankets in it. It loves sleeping in boxes apparently, so it's kind of like a cat. They also eat cat or dog food. So, you know, if you have a cat or a dog or the food of those things, you're good.
Mhm.
They like apple cores. They like banana peels. They do whine like fucking horrendously. Like it is almost unbearable, at least for me. I don't think I could be around one of these things for much more than like 5-10 minutes.
I believe last episode I mentioned that they basically sound like the giant child from Resident Evil Village.
Yep.
It's
It's just that constantly. And not constantly, during their active hours. So they whine constantly in their active hours.
It's like 4 in the morning.
These things,
It's not it's
it's
bad
the middle
hours.
of the fucking night.
And they're like, as long as you can get over the noise at the active hours, you'll be fine. No. Why would I own
They're
this?
basically a human baby, but way worse in every way imaginable.
Take all the bad things from human babies, amalgamate
Oh,
it,
God.
and just put it in a box in your living room, and that's
I want everyone to think about how bad children are real quick.
And how much you
All right.
would hate your life if you had one.
if you had one.
Yeah, who would do such
Who
a
would do that?
thing? I
We
gotta
love
make
you,
a
Mike.
call.
And how you would ruin all your friends' lives by constantly not being able to do anything.
How selfish.
Just think about
Fucking- God.
Think about others before you have a child.
So yeah, it goes over that. It does say that it can't play like fetch or tug or anything like that, like a normal pet would do.
Come on, just tug me, little guy. Come on.
Nope, won't do it.
Don't
It's
do
do-
that.
Don't
Don't,
do it.
don't tug the monkey.
Don't sit. Yeah, don't tug the monkey, please. So they can't play that. They do love to watch TV and listen to the radio. They like absolutely love it. The part of this video where it shows the trimming watching TV, it just looks so fucking
Yeah,
happy.
let's
It's
not
like,
forget
Just churling.
this whole thing.
oh yeah,
It's like a it's
it's
like
a skinless raccoon.
but it's like an actual like thing.
It's a thing that it's like a prop.
It's a
Like,
prop.
it's a-
Like this,
it
this
made
person
this.
made
I,
it.
I think these things are paper mache. They look like they are, but they're very well done. They're
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They almost
look
look
gross.
drawn
Yeah.
in. Like I know I'm pretty sure it's a real prop, but it almost
It
has
looks
this like
sketched.
drawn
Yeah.
characteristic to it. It's kind of weird.
I think I said this last episode, but if anyone has seen the Dear David series, it looks like the little fucking thing from that.
Mm.
It's very similar, at least in like quality and like how it looks. But either way, so this thing loves TV, it loves radio, pretty much any stimulus that doesn't force it to do anything. This thing very much enjoys.
Hey, it's just like Mike.
That sounds about right. Hey, actually, it says loves affection.
Hey, I am a skinless
You might be a-
raccoon
you
that
may-
eats apple cores
Mike,
and
you
bananas.
might be a Michael.
Why did you go a little Morgan Freeman there? You might be a Mike.
You might be a
Michael.
I don't know. I half went into it and then like kind of stopped myself. So
Doug's really bringing his full ass to this one.
full ass.
Full
True
ass.
facts about Michael. He enjoys stimulus that doesn't involve him doing anything.
And also affection. But yeah, that's it. it's not hard to take care of these fucking trimmings. It really isn't. If you can get past the screaming at 4 a.m. and the fact that they don't have skin but they're constantly bleeding, like it's this might be just for you. This video made me very uncomfortable. I don't know if it was like the creature itself or like the tone, the video tech. Either way, I felt like horrendous for these things.
It didn't make me feel uncomfortable. I would just this whole video I was like, who the fuck would want this as a
That it literally just made me feel bad for the creature.
That's
that's
the
all.
joke.
Like
yeah.
yeah.
Whoosh.
So that's the entirety of the meat trimmings video, how to take care of it, where it should be, where to keep it, where it sleeps, all that good stuff. So if you are interested in owning one of these horrendous meat creatures, this is the video for you. The next one is called Meat Snake Specimen.
Oh yeah.
How did they get your nickname? Isn't that your screen name on Reddit?
Meat snake specimen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, archived footage. So this one's about 3.5 minutes long, a little bit longer. And this one was very interesting and also terrifying. It was kind of an informational, and it was like something you'd see like on the History Channel or something with like the different slides, the black and white, and it goes over the sizes of meat snakes, and then it shows this fucking meat snake that is like wedged in a subway tunnel. Now, if you guys will remember from last episode, we talked about the sizes of the meat snakes, and we talked about the
Every
coating.
time you
like-
say the sizes of meat snakes, I get a little bit harder.
well, let's see.
This dummy thick meat snake got caught in the subway.
This is just chub Matt up
Is it-
real quick.
It's a chode snake.
Chode snake.
Chord snock.
So these meat snakes, if you remember, they've got this coating, like this connective tissue coating that runs the length of it, and it's super dense, super durable. It was hard to get through. This thing has the same thing, but it's way darker and denser. And apparently nothing that they used to try to like take a sample of the specimen to study it would cut through it. Nothing. Nothing
Basically
would
just
get
a
through
meat
it.
snake that smoked a pack a day for 30 years.
Yeah, pretty much. It's incredibly. It's almost like the outer layer is made out of like hypercoagulated blood. It's like that dark red.
That dark meat.
Yeah. And it's completely blocking this whole subway tunnel.
What a jerk. It's
He's
like
an
that scene
asshole.
from Men in Black 2 with Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, yeah. Holy shit, I haven't thought about Men in Black 2 in a long time.
I know, right?
I forgot it existed.
I've thought about Men in Black 3, but not 2.
I've been thinking about men, but not
I'm
2,
glad you-
3, or
Never mind.
Or in.
or N, yeah.
So we see this giant meat snake, and they go over the story of them trying to study it, figure out how it got so huge. And apparently it's covered in this what they call an evolved carapace, and it's resilient even to like radiation. It does not let radiation through. Apparently it smells like scrambled eggs. This whole video is simply just about the snake that blocked it.
Almost
and
farts.
almost farts. Yeah, it's like the smell you smell right before you fart.
It's the smell between the poop and the fart
Yeah,
that comes out with the fart,
This
right?
is so great.
All right, cool.
We're really getting hung up on the right details here.
I just want the listeners to know. I need them to
Okay.
understand.
I think we've made this clear. But yeah, that's the entirety of the meat snake specimen archived footage video. Finally, we get to honestly probably one of my favorite videos in the series. It is also, I think, the second longest. It's 21 minutes long. If you can skip out on your favorite nightly sitcom for the night, go ahead and watch this. It's terrifying. I will say that. This one's called the Mimic Defense Instructional Tape. Now, I know we covered mimics. We talked about
I
how
have a love-hate relationship with this video.
it's horrendously terrifying. We talked about the mimics a bit, and we talked about how terrifying they can be. But the tone that the video that we were talking about earlier, I forget, it was just the mimic video, informational. They didn't make it seem like horrendously horrifying. They
I
made
would
it seem
beg to
like
differ.
they made it seem like a predator. That's for sure. But they did not go into the details that this one does. And because this one, so to give you a heads up, this is going to give you an actual account of somebody or some people who encounter a mimic, more or less.
This video should have been called "Trim 15 minutes from this video."
Trim 15 minutes, yeah. I mean, to be fair, it does set up some some plot. But either way, it starts off and it goes over essentially about how there's an increased missing persons on a global scale, rising mimic attacks, and populations as well. They talk about how they can contort their bodies to hide in like really, really small spaces, like water tanks or like under sheds or like just spaces you would never think to look for them.
My ass.
Yeah, maybe Mike's ass. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
We then cut and we get to a almost like a home video at night of these two people walking out in the middle of nowhere at night. And they're talking about where they're going, and they're going to a trailer park. And they don't
Classic mistake.
100%. This is
sisters.
so they're walking, and the
Wood.
guy.
Would, by the way.
Dude,
No,
Marie
it's
Canker?
Smash.
It would. I had a crush on her when I was like, when I was a little kid. I was like, oh, the blue-haired one.
Where all your problems started.
Yeah. A blue-haired trailer park woman.
Yeah.
I think I just put together that you're referencing Etta and Eddie, and I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
old.
I think instead of saying Smash now, it just would.
Wood.
Wood.
I thought,
Wood.
Again, I also thought you were just saying wood, like tree wood. Like, wood.
Wood.
Plank.
All right.
Oh, I like
Any-
chickens.
Got it. Anyway, so it shows these people, they're talking about where they're going, and they talk about an incident, and they don't really give any details about it. You can assume they're talking about like a mimic attack of some sort or some incident that happened with one of these creatures, but they don't say anything explicitly. They keep talking, they keep walking, they keep going, and they see it's literally 15 minutes of them walking to their destination and talking about things and getting more and more
Yeah,
freaked
they're
out.
like, I think they're like trying to like make a home movie or something.
Well, they're in a trailer park, so you know what they're doing.
I don't. I have a theory. Well, I have a theory on what I think is happening here, and I understand the video camera, but I can't get into it now. I think we need to go over that.
No,
later.
I think because I think the guy mentions he's like, let's go over there to get a better shot because I think they're like
yes,
filming it for a movie.
You're right, but I do have a theory about the whole thing, and this could be me overthinking the shit out of it. But if it's what I think it is actually really well done. But
Speak your truth.
anyway, these people are walking. They're going to a trailer park. You hear dogs bark at some point, and there's a comment made about how that isn't good. And if you remember from the Mimic informational video that we talked about, they go over how like dogs barking at night at nothing, this, that, and the other. There's a whole lot of I don't like how
That's
sensually
gonna be
you are.
so loud.
Sorry.
I'll just turn your mic off.
Get wrecked.
Yeah. But so they talk about how dogs barking, as well as like silence in the area. Like bigger animals, if they go nuts, sure, that's something to be worried about at night. If you don't hear any wildlife, that's also kind of something to be worried about because that means they're staying away from something. So they say it's not good. They find this abandoned car, and this reminded me of just straight up the Blair Witch Project. They just film a.
That's just like the Blair Witch Project.
So it's very Blair Witch. They find this abandoned car, like, oh, this is a creepy shot, and they film it for a solid like 10, 15 seconds. I thought it was pretty like pointless for them to do that. But anyway, they keep going, and they finally get to their destination. When they get there, there's nothing there, and the guy starts talking about how strange this is. Like, there's literally just people here. Like, they were just here. I don't understand what's going on. And then they change the shot, and it's this guy standing in front of the camera, and he almost starts giving like a report, almost like it's like he's a hobby investigative journalist or something like that. And he almost wants to like find out what happened, this incident at the trailer park, and he's doing it in a way that makes him seem like the host of the show or
Walter
something.
Cronkite.
It's Walter Cronkite. But yeah, he talks about there's a grisly murder. Police were acting weird, and then eventually the case was actually claimed as a suicide, which doesn't make sense. The trailer park was abandoned shortly after, and they're here to find out what happened. So we find out the guy's name is Chris, and he asks the girl a question, or rather makes a statement. And 2 seconds later, I forget what he says, but literally 2 seconds later, he's just fucking not there. Like not even close. Can't see him. Not.
Yeah,
so
she
it's
just
her.
like turns around, turns back, and she's
Gone.
just like, Chris?
Absolutely gone. He
Chris?
literally just said.
Where are you?
He just said something to her. Yeah. So I'll wait on that point. So she heads back to the car, and when she gets there, I now understand why they filmed the car so long, because we see a mimic like clawing its way out from underneath it with these giant, terrifying eyes, and go to like this chase scene. She runs into a house. The mimic breaks down the door.
And they're like eating the dude
Yeah.
as well. It's like
It's
like
eating
in
him.
his torso or some
Yeah.
shit too. Yeah.
He's like laid out on the ground, and it's like.
Oh, it is. Okay, so that actually I actually didn't notice that. That actually shoots my theory to shit. I was actually, the reason I think he was gone is I thought he was a mimic, one of the alpha mimics, luring her out to the middle of nowhere, using the trailer park as cover to get her into a group.
That would have
them.
been cool. But yeah,
That's
I think
what
you
I
just see his
thought.
dead body.
Yeah,
right in front of
I'm
her.
pretty
Oh,
sure
man.
you do. Yeah.
Okay, well,
That would have been cooler, in my
right.
opinion.
That's I saw that. I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome.
Because that would line up with the whole they blend.
Why
in.
is that? Why are they doing this at night? Why are they going out there? And he needed a reason to bring her out there to be alone so they could feast. That was what I thought was going on. But since I didn't know that it was literally eating the guy's or Chris's body,
Yeah,
I thought
instead
he
we
just
get this
was an
fucking
alpha mimic.
Sigma mimic, and
His fucking Sigma.
Now
This is the
I will
Rizzler.
say, I appreciate. So like I feel like any other like what do we want to call this? Unfiction, analog? I don't think this is an analog horror.
It's like
It's
a
a
hybrid.
little bit of
It's
both.
analog
It's like a
horror.
hybrid.
Is it analog horror? So you would any other analog horror would have just given us like maybe like a still image with
Yeah.
like a shitty like
Yep.
Microsoft art or like you know what I mean like
Yeah.
like pencil
Clip art.
drawn clip art like
Yeah.
image of
100%.
this creature, but like they have a
Remember, kids.
costume. It's
Yeah.
not like the best looking costume. It's like it looks to me it looked like a dude in a jumpsuit with like a hoodie on, and they just put like big ol' eyes on the hoodie. But like fucking props where props are due. You made a prop. You made a costume. That's
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yep.
The
Like,
the
I don't care.
costume in the first mimic video is much better.
It
Yeah.
is.
Looking,
yeah,
where it looks
agreed.
better in that video for sure.
I think
Yeah.
that's because all they needed was a hand and a head. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
This one
Yeah.
definitely is a lot more like a little lower budget. But I am always gonna say like your shit can look like ass as long as the story is great. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh,
Your
100%.
shit can
Like,
look like
I've seen
ass.
movies that have the worst fucking CGI, but it doesn't fucking matter because the movie itself is good.
Mhm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
oh yeah,
Like,
For sure.
100%.
like the fucking what's his
Get
name?
creative.
Movie the Parasite guy. He made Host.
Oh,
The Host? Doesn't matter. Anyway, but the movie The
What's his
Host,
name?
like it was made in like 2006. The creature does not look all that good.
It's
The
such a good
CG
movie
is pretty
though.
janky, but like the movie's fantastic.
So
Yeah,
good.
it's very
It's
good.
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Oh, is
that
it,
doesn't look the best?
Bong Joon. What's his
What?
fucking name? The director.
Yeah, you got it, dude.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
know, but I think
I-
that's actually like what it is. It's something I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
We're all
remember
scared to
his
say
name.
the name.
I don't.
But yeah, like so it may not have looked the best. Like it kind of
Yeah, it's Bong Joon Ho.
Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he does like Parasite and
Yeah.
a
Train
couple
to
other
Busan,
movies.
didn't he?
Possibly. I don't know all the fucking movies, but probably.
I want to watch the prequel to that. Anyway, we're getting to movies.
Yep.
We're going to Movie Town very quickly.
Going to movie town.
But won't you
Um,
take me to-
He did do Train to Busan, just so you know.
Oh, nice. Okay. So we see the mimic devouring Chris, the other guy that went to this trailer park with this girl. So she runs into this like the closest home that she can find. The mimic that's my last point. Mimic breaks down the door, like the window in the door, like to like open the door from the inside because it's locked, which showcases
That
some
looked
intelligence.
creepy, too.
That
was
shot's
creepy.
fucking horrifying. Eventually, it lets himself inside, where we then see it like dragging her out of a room, and then it like leans in to obviously start just feasting, and then it just glitches the fuck out, and that's the end of the episode.
Mhm.
And that is the entirety of my my portion for these videos.
I love me a good found footage.
What are we
Episode.
drinking? What are we thinking? There's a shot glass in here.
Is
and
that your
it's
first
scary.
one or second? Oh God, you drink. This is
No.
sitting there marinating in the air.
I think it's been. I think it's been
Oxidizing.
Serenade.
I think it's
Air date.
it's stripping
It's
all
been
like
burning the air out of the air.
it's been stripping everything that's inside the glass off of it.
Yeah, it's
So, like-
clean. It's self-cleaning.
Oh, you're right.
It's the cleanest thing you could ever put in your body. Actually.
But yeah, I'm trying to get through this fucking spiritist so we don't have to look at it anymore. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are
Shot
you
at time.
drinking? What are you thinking? There's a
Um,
spiritist and it's empty. Yeah,
Almost.
Yeah.
it's almost empty.
Oh, it's getting there.
I'm just having water.
I'm drinking, not a sponsor, Liquid Death.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm also drinking Liquid Death.
Mine's the tea version.
In my Liquid Death shirt, official.
Sponsor us, Liquid Death. Come on now.
I am
You know what to
sponsored.
do.
That's where I got this. So funny story.
We've been talking about
So-
this.
Yeah, so funny story. I know this guy who works a lot of events that are like festival type things around like the alternative music scene. And I was talking to him recently and I was like, hey, there's this running gag on our podcast where I like constantly harass Liquid Death and I'm like addicted to Liquid Death and try to get them to sponsor us. And I was like, is there any way you could hook me up? And he was like, yeah, I got you. So he knows somebody at Liquid Death because he works these events all the time. And he sent them my address and he like explained the situation to him. And he was like, yeah, like apparently this is like a running bit. And yeah, they sent me this shirt and this thermos. And now I'm like, I'm official.
So
I got
you
So
swag.
we have
So-
their address. We can
have an
harass
in.
them via
Oh,
mail.
yeah,
We have an in.
yeah. I'm gonna keep her
Yeah.
Oh,
out.
they fucked up.
You know, it's super cool they sent you free shit,
Uh-huh.
but I want a paycheck.
Okay. I'm working on it, man. Baby steps.
I believe in
That's
you.
a slow burn.
This
Yeah.
this will be our big break. Once we
Hell
get that
yeah.
Liquid Death
That's fucking
money,
awesome.
As long as we have one Liquid Death product in every episode from
Yeah.
that's all
here
we
on
look
out.
forward to. Doug, show the label. What are
Yeah,
you doing,
what
you
are you
animal?
fucking
I
doing?
have
We're never
it.
gonna get
You
paid
can't
like
see
that.
it because of the red
Yeah,
light.
Come on.
That's
I'm
fair.
going to send them this episode so that
Yeah.
they can see how well we shill their products.
Yeah.
God, I'm just so fucking thirsty. Like,
You should
God,
murder that
Oh,
goddamn
I
thirst.
could murder
You
a
need to
thirst
murder it.
right now.
Exactly.
I need to murder my thirst with a cool Liquid Death.
Cheers, everybody. When you hear the clink, you know what to fucking do.
Bonk.
I just have normal, boring water.
Do you have a story about your water?
I got out of the tap.
Got it out of the sump.
It's-
It's dying.
This sump
Wow.
up water is disgusting. I need real water, like Liquid Death. I won't lie though. I've been drinking a little bit more Liquid Death because of you fucking people. And I gotta say, I don't remember the names of them, but they got the lime one that I like, and they have a melon one, that was, pretty. Or sorry, a berry one, which was it berry?
Buried alive
Buried
or
alive,
something.
yeah.
Or,
It was like buried alive, and the lime one I don't remember the name of, but it was. I think the.
so
lime
you're doing
one's
the
my favorite.
sparkling waters, huh?
I'm not a tea. I'm not a cold tea guy. It's gotta
I'm
be
not
hot
a
tea.
I'm not a tea person either, but I love the Rest in Peach and the Armless Palmer. They're
It's not.
very,
It's
very good.
legally not Armless Palmer anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Dead Billionaires or something.
I still have not tried a single liquid.
They're good.
That was very good.
They're very good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's right here.
How are we gonna get
And they're
sponsored
cheap.
like this?
I know. Especially with a comment like that makes it into the episode.
We're just like, yeah, no, they're good.
They're cheap too. It's like $2 a can, and I'm sure if you
I
get
mean,
like the 12 pack or whatever,
I
it's
wouldn't
probably
say it's
cheaper,
cheap.
Are you
but
sure
it's
you're not
definitely
sponsored
worth.
already?
but-
Okay.
That concludes the
Yeah.
sponsorship segment.
If we
We
had
got very
sponsors, they
off
would go here.
topic.
But yeah, that's the end of my my little portion for these videos. Matt, what do you got for
Yes.
us?
I have more videos. 4 more videos to be precise. The first
Hot damn.
video is titled This is my book report on Carnis. on Vita Carnis. Species Anomaly Report. So this is a video that is sort of like an informational presentation on a strange anomaly that happened at some point between August and October of 1989. And the first thing that we're shown is this map that is like a population density map of like some sort of, or actually it's harvesters. They tell us that. So it's a population density map of harvesters. And so there's a red dot everywhere that there's a harvester. And as it goes on through August to October, we see the population greatly expand and like shift around rapidly. And so when we get to the end of these population maps, we get some blurry photos of like kids playing in a forest, and then it's kind of interspliced with shots of stuff like growing on the screen, and then all of a sudden the screen goes black and we hear sounds of children screaming in the background, which is always a fantastic sign. And
Yeah, I
there's
love that sound.
This
Didn't
is-
at all make me scared for my future.
yeah,
At all.
absolutely.
This,
How did this
this
make
whole
you feel
episode
as a
hates
parent?
kids.
Like,
Right.
I can't wait until your kids start saying some like weird shit. They're
Sure he
like,
does.
yeah, the Hatman's in my
Oh,
room.
Okay, so I'm pulling the exact opposite of parents in horror movies. You know, in every horror movie, a parent's like,
just go to bed.
yeah, no, they're like, Mommy, I saw a guy in the room. It's just your imagination. No, I'm like, all right, we're moving. That easy.
All
We're
right,
getting
let's
the fuck
throw
out
away
of
your
here.
room.
We have to move.
Yeah.
if Amelia
I saw
told you that she wanted a pet trimming, what would you say?
Okay. Sure, me
Okay.
too.
Without ever
Right.
knowing what
It'll
Vita
live in the
Carnis is.
basement. And it'll enjoy it down there.
New
with
bonus
my daughter.
topic.
Yeah. But I swear to if Amelia's ever just like, Daddy, I saw the crooked man in the window
Oh
again.
God, no.
Cool.
Bent
Crooked
neck
man
lady.
can stay here. We're gone. Like, I don't fucking
Have fun.
Like, yeah.
Have fun with your new home.
Cool. We're going to the American.
That's
Like,
your
let's
new
go.
dad.
Inheritance early.
Yeah.
So anyway, we see
We're
this
going
black
to stay at
screen,
the Hotel 6.
and then we just see shots of so much blood. And after we see the blood, we see a family photo again, and like it looks in this family photo, it looks like all of the faces are like photoshopped onto
Yeah.
these people. I don't
It's
know
like-
if that's really
yeah.
relevant or not, but in this version of the photo, one of the kids is now blacked out. So we can assume that something bad has happened to one of these children.
We got another prop too, which I enjoyed. We got like a face with where like the face like melts off down to the skull,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed that. Again, my,
It's like a
He's like, I
Raiders-
love Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
dude,
Raiders
my
of the Lost
boy's
Ark.
crushing it with the fucking props. That's what I'm saying. This
Hell
is
yeah.
fucking great. I love
dude.
it.
Hell yeah.
So
You are a prop whore.
Mm-hmm.
we get more screaming. We get more photos of the family in the forest, and then we get another picture. And now mommy's dead this time. And
Dang.
Ruh-roh.
there are references to like there is now half of what once was. So we can basically assume that this event is this family went to this forest in this area that's very densely populated by these harvesters, and the harvesters did away with half of this family. The next video is called Flavor Enhancer Commercial, and that is exactly
real
what it
quick.
is.
I'm pretty sure this is the family that I mentioned in the newspaper article when I was going
Yeah.
over the
Oh.
harvest.
Yeah, this is definitely the same event that
Yeah.
has previously been mentioned.
Yeah.
So the next video is Flavor Enhancer Commercial, and that's exactly what it is. It is just a commercial for Flavor Enhancer. And we've mentioned Flavor Enhancer before. So it's a product that's made by this company called Nutri Co. And it's a special spice that you're supposed to put on the meat that
Panay.
comes from,
The crawl.
right,
The
that comes from the
peen.
crawl. And it's supposed to make it basically tolerable. And they tell us the same sort of things that we've been told before. So, like, apply below 60 degrees Celsius. And the first part of the commercial is pretty ordinary. Like,
And now you
The
can
wa-
just put that shit on anything. It's like put it on your soup.
yeah, yeah. But there are that like as the commercial progresses, though, we get more and more instructions, and they start out fairly tame, and they're like, yeah, just like put it on the stuff, make sure that it's applied below 60 degrees, feed it to your kids is one that it really likes to emphasize, and but where it starts to get weird is where it keeps repeatedly telling you that it is required and is crucial to everyday eating. And it
My
tells
favorite
you
part
this
of that-
multiple times over and over again.
My favorite part is as it's doing that, they're just slapping the shit on a piece of white bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like applying it to everything at this point.
They're just like, put it on everything. It's a
Consume.
requirement.
consume. It's very Hypnotoad vibes.
I gotta
So-
say,
Yes.
by the end of tonight, there's two things that I have a hankering for: liquid death
Bread.
and some fucking flavor
And
enhancer.
flavor
I could
enhancer. Absolutely.
I
Mix
put,
that shit
put
in.
the flavor enhancer
Combine
in
them.
In
yes.
liquid death.
It'll
Oh my God,
enhance
in
the murder. So after we're
We all
told
need that.
it's crucial to everyday eating over and over again, then it devolves into you must, you must, you must, you must. And then we have hands that come out from the bottom of the screen and they're reaching towards the flavor enhancer.
Gimme.
And that is pretty much the entire thing. The one thing that you will note from this video is that it repeatedly shows us the NutriCo logo, which is a black circle with a red triangle smack dab
It's a
in the
cult
middle of it.
symbol.
Yeah,
It's just a
it's
cult
very
symbol.
culty looking.
Yeah, like,
It's
I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's not fucking obvious.
I'm in a
100%.
In one of my videos, there's like a flash in the screen. I believe it's during, I can't remember which video it is. I have it in my notes, but it's in the host of Influence. It flashes a black circle with the red triangle in it. It's like a half a second thing. So you actually have been seeing it a whole lot throughout the video.
It's
so
very
far.
New World Order. Like, very New World Order.
Speaking of New World Order, the next video is called Uncovered Documents. And this is a disclosure of a confidential report. And the report seems to be about flavor enhancer. And it's basically just a report about Nutrier. And apparently, to what I feel like should be nobody's surprise, this shit's been making people sick. Mad sick.
No.
Weird.
You mean to tell me
Oh,
this isn't a
no.
report on how fiscally successful they are?
Oh, I'm sure they are.
No, it is.
Because
It
you must,
is.
you must. And it's
Yeah,
required
it's
for
true.
everyday eating. I'm sure they're making money
Put-
hand over fist.
Put it
That's
in your
part of the
kids.
issue.
God, they just made cocaine. Put the cocaine in your soup.
Rondo.
Put the cocaine in your children.
Yeah, they made Rondo.
It's what children crave.
Yeah.
So, like, we get more information about the report. It's making people sick. It's kind of implied that it's like rotting people's brains away because the report is sort of spliced together with videos of just like ants. And then we see like a scan of a brain with like dots kind of inside of it. So it's kind of, I think it's like trying to tell us or imply that like this shit is literally eating people's brains.
It gives you
which kinda-
spongiform encephalitis.
Yeah, sure. Science boy.
Science boy.
And then the video kind of ends with like a newspaper snippet. And if you pause the video and read it, the snippet says the Private Organization of Containment and Research Consult Association Society (parentheses Carcass) has been experiencing backlash from government agencies about cooperation and violation of newly introduced policies of blank 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 blank. So, Carcass, what that be? We find out sort of in the next video. So the next video is called Message, and it's very analog horror-y. It's like a typing video where like the letters come in like, and it says new log, message to Carcass. So it's there's a short video of a monolith. We've talked about the monoliths before. It describes a little bit about them. It's not really any new information that we haven't heard before, but what happens after this is we get a schizo video. It is like
That is the way to describe it.
Yeah, it's a Charlie Day, like
Yep.
Yes.
pins and Polaroid pictures.
Pepe
stuck-
Sylvia.
Yeah, it's a Pepe Sylvia board of pictures stuck to the wall and like red string drawn between things. And this person there's a individual who is putting a conspiracy together about the flavor enhancer. And it's a message to, I guess, us, like we are supposed to be the protagonist in this sort of like situation.
Right.
But he talks to you about needing to meet you, and that you need to do something for them to help them figure out what they, quotations, are covering up. So there's not a whole lot of extra information in this video, but basically what we gather from this is that this person is trying to put together like this conspiracy that involves NutriCo, and they also mention that like people who have tried to uncover this before, which is these Carcass people, have received backlash from the government, like was mentioned in the last video. And so now we've got like this underground organization of people who are trying to put this conspiracy together and figure out what's going on here. Things escalate significantly further in the next video, which is titled Facility Zero. And this is the season 1 finale. that spoiler alert, there's going to be a second season. But this
Well,
hopefully.
video is a mission briefing. Like this, we go from these videos that are just like analog horror and like horror style videos to just like full fucking action
Military.
movie, military,
Yeah.
like Tom Clancy style, fucking.
Rainbow Six.
Splinter
It-
Cell.
it is Rainbow Six. It's fantastic. I love it. I love this video. And so we get a screen that's like a military mission briefing and some comms that are playing over top of it. And the idea is basically that there's a team that's stationed outside of a facility. And so the mission starts and the squad is sitting outside of this facility, and between them are some harvesters that are blocking their path. And so one of the guys who's on the squad snipes one of the harvesters and takes it out so that they can move into the facility. And then the rest of the video is
So
basically.
can I make a comment real quick that I've been wanting to make
Sure, go
since?
for it.
Remember when we saw the video that says guns don't do anything to these things?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Just remember that. Go. Keep
Right.
going.
Yeah. So the rest of this is kind of like body cam and security camera footage for the most part. And it's done I don't know if this is done in a video game engine or if this is like Blender or something, but it looks like a video game, but there's like a lot of overlays over it and stuff to make it look more real. I love this. It's
Yeah.
like machinima.
I enjoyed
basically.
it a lot.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
it was very nostalgic for me to watch this, and I absolutely fucking loved it. But we get body cam footage of this squad kind of like moving through the forest into the facility, and then it's spliced together with security cam footage. We see some dudes who are just like standing in a hallway, and they appear to be maybe guarding it, but they're kind of just like standing still, like they're like not all there. And then the people this squad that we've been following, who eventually breach the facility, they find this hallway, they take those dudes out, and then they're standing in front of this door, and they're given instructions to breach. And they breach the door, and as soon as they open it, they start opening fire, and we see some very short shots of what appears to be a cult gathering, and it's like all of these people and we can only see their silhouettes, and they're gathered around these dots that are like floating above them, and there's just a bunch of screaming and gunfire, and then the feed cuts out. So we don't know who won the struggle, or if these people, if they just gun down these cultists and that's the end of it, but that's all we get from this video. So
I
Bum.
loved this.
I
So
thought it was
good.
fucking cool. It's so cool. This,
This is one of my favorite
mimic,
topics.
aside from the first mimic video, this video is my favorite part of the series.
It
And-
reminded me there's someone on YouTube that makes similar videos about like SCPs.
Yeah.
But they don't make enough of them, and I need them. They're like movies.
Yeah. It,
Yeah.
it takes forever to do, I'm sure. But
And I'm like, this
holy
shit is fucking great because it's like perfect. Like this is the kind of shit that you need when like obviously you can't get fucking 40 people in like military
Right.
gear, cultist gear.
Right.
You can't get all this shit in real life. Make it in a fucking game engine. Like it's
Yeah.
it's the perfect idea. We
I
have
mean,
the
that's
technology.
great.
That's
now.
what we used to do in
Like-
2004
Yeah.
with like Halo 2.
Halo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring
Like,
this
you
shit back.
have the ability.
Please bring this
Yeah.
shit back.
Yeah. Again, it might not look the best. I think this looks fantastic. Like I
It-
fucking loved it.
It feels great.
But like
Like
even
you
if
said,
you have
it's
to do
good
it low
enough.
budget.
Whole-
Yeah, like
Yeah.
even if you have to do it like low budget, like you're just fucking screen recording like a fucking Halo party, and it's like you guys act like these things, we'll act like these guys. It still gets the point across.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it. I love it.
Doesn't
All
matter
right,
how-
so
yeah, the
um,
visuals don't matter as long as you tell the fucking story.
Mhm.
right, exactly. And I think they did a great job all around, like full blown. Just really enjoyed the whole story, and I actually, I've been left with wanting more. So that's
Yep.
Yeah.
grade A in my book.
This I know I've said this a couple times. I think this might be one of my favorite episodes that we've covered.
Same.
Full stop. Now
Yeah.
there's one thing about this that I think would have made it better, but I just don't think they probably didn't have the budget or the time to do it this way. I think instead of doing it like in the slideshow aspect where they started it off, doing it like a fucking National Geographic documentary, I think would have been great. Like imagine like those Nat Geo or
You
like
always
History
see a
Channel
wild
things.
trimming.
Yeah, where it's like documentary style where they're how like you got those ones now where they're
This
like
animal might
look at the elephant in the wild or whatever. Oh, look, it's beautiful. if they would have done that kind of shit with this, if they had the budget to do that, I think this would have been like fucking perfect. Because
I can see that.
That like.
Well, this is just a good reason for people to go fund this guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Patreon.
Like, this would be a perfect like mockumentary type of thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, this would be so
100%.
good.
If this had this you could make like out of everything we've covered. I think if you gave this guy like $50 million to make like a full blown fucking like
I would watch 10 fucking
well-produced
seasons of this.
series, you could. This
There
has
is
enough content in it to make a fun.
much you could do with it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So much, and you could keep it interesting.
It's just like SCP in that aspect where there's so much shit that you can make a series out of it. Like, and they kind of do it like Archive 51 or whatever.
Yeah.
Sort of SCP-ish.
No, the series that We Are Alive is an SCP audio drama series.
Yeah. Either way, but it's like there's so much that could be done with this. There's so much possibility with this, and if this guy ever needs some sort of crowdfunding, y'all better step up and do it because I want to see more of this shit. And
I'll be in there.
Okay,
pitching.
so
this guy's obviously got a great vision. and I fucking love
before we get too gushy over this, which I know we will at the very end, right? We need to go over two more things. Well, really one thing, but I want to just lay out a timeline of everything that happened in the story, just as like a little refresher.
It's a little wonky.
Because we've covered a lot of things, but we didn't really give you guys a sense of the time
narrative.
frame. But after that, there's something that we didn't cover from our videos that we're going to cover that might even give more insight into why we think some of the things that we'll probably bring up in a little bit about this. So real quick, just as a refresher for everyone, timeline. All right.
Yep.
1931. This is when the crawl first is
Makes an appearance,
documented. 1939, World War II promotes rapid growth of crawl and
Meat
other
snakes.
meat creatures.
Because remember, war.
Yeah. 1945, war ends, and then cult activity surfaces and massive meats, like the meat snake.
Yep.
And then we skip to 1970, where we record the biggest size increase in population of meat. I'm just going to call it meat.
Yeah, just call it meat.
Of meat. In 1971, this is when the monoliths appear. So this is, 40 years after the first crawl shows up. These monoliths just appear out of fucking nowhere and encircle what we know as Hudson Bay.
Yeah.
So in 1983, that's when we get the mimic attack video.
Yep.
That's the video that Jason just covered. 1986, mimics are straight up a threat to humanity. And they are basically, I guess, a state of emergency is declared.
That was what they were talking about
War
in the video.
declared.
Was the war were declared. In the video, they were talking about how it's dangerous to be out because of the rise in mimic populations and their proximity to like human population.
Yep.
So that was the start of the scare for that.
So this brings us to our first video. The National Meat Researchers released the Vita Carnis documentary.
The first like 7 videos.
the PDAs, or not PDAs. What's it called?
The PD.
That's public
The
display of affection.
blackberries.
What's it called? when-
PSA?
PSA. Thank you.
PSA, public service
PSA.
announcement.
PDAs.
So yeah, the National Meat Team fucking releases their PSA on meat. And basically, now knowing what you know, we know that might not be the good guys in this situation. They may know a lot about meat, but they might not be telling you the truth, aka guns don't hurt these things, etc., etc.
So you brought that up, and I don't want to derail too hard, but I thought the guns don't hurt these things was specifically about mimics.
That's what I thought too.
But they did say it specifically about mimics, but they also were telling you that they don't work
They
on
just
them.
don't work against the Vita Carnis.
But
Oh.
they wanted you to think that.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm taking from it, because Carcass straight up is like, shoot the
It
meat.
just literally like it. Look at us do it. It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Do you
that
think
being
that
said,
was just
in
a
19
lie all out. That was a lie.
yeah, I think it was a
I
lie.
could see that.
I think it was just the meat team was just like, lie.
The meat team.
Lie
Team
to
meat.
you.
The meat team.
Team meat.
meat.
But we're almost at the end of the timeline. So 1990, they released the documentary. And then that same year, NutriCo releases the flavor enhancer, and we see a 6-month decline in human health. Current day, like I guess we can call it 2020, whatever you want to call it, or 2022, whenever this came out. The later half of the videos come out, and then Carcass fights back. and that's currently happening
So
now.
The struggles currently so the military action plan with the cultists and everything, that's like present day
Now.
current.
Yep.
The now.
So
The now, not the then now. The now.
one other thing we learned in one of the last bits of Matt's video is that the singularity has a big red upside down triangle on it. So now we know that is the symbol of the singularity, which will make this next bit make way more sense because we're going to cover a storybook that essentially is hidden within all of these videos. And I think, Matt, you had like the whole thing, right?
At the end of all of these videos, for briefly like a frame or two, well, not all of the videos, but a lot of the videos.
A good majority.
Yeah, a good majority of them throughout the series. There are a frame or two of what appear to be like children's fairy tale storybook pages. And so if you put all of these together, like full disclosure, we had to get these out of the YouTube comments because some of them, like, I don't know how people even read them. I tried to read one of mine and I couldn't read it at all. It was just way
Oh,
too
they're
quick.
so fucking hard.
Yeah. So the storybook as we know it at the moment goes, once upon a time, there was a distant kingdom. The kingdom was the royal family were magical. They traveled land and sea to discover new places and learn what? And that there's obviously information
bits are
missing from
cut
that
off.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
During the travels on one of their expeditions, a great storm struck. It was so powerful it swayed the boat the royal family rowed and pushed the prince out and into the sea. After being stranded at sea, the young prince eventually was cast to an island. Injured, the prince stumbled his way into a nearby cave. The prince used what magic he could to put himself into a healing sleep. But the prince's sleep was long. He slept for what seemed like forever. As he slept, the land around him changed and grew. It was unrecognizable from when the prince first arrived, but the sleep still needed time to heal the prince, much more time. But it kept the prince safe while he rested, guarding him from the elements as the land changed. Outside the cave, during a time of hardship, lived the island critters. The critters were struggling in this hard time. There was barely any food to go around. They would go and gather whatever they could. Although, one day, the critters found a cave while searching for food. They found the prince in his trance and in his healing sleep. The critters were so awestruck and enchanted by the prince's magic. Who is this creature? Why are they here? Are they dangerous? A thought was brought up. What if this creature could use its magic to help them? It may grow food or heal sickness. They continued to argue about the prince and his magic, and in the end, the majority of the critters agreed that the prince was dangerous and should not be meddled with.
Kill him!
Although the critters ignored the rest of their fellow kind, although the other critters ignored the rest of their fellow kind. Instead, they secretly visited the slumbering visitor. They snuck what little food they had and carefully fed it to the prince, greatly hastening his recovery. One day,
They
the
just
prince
jammed it down this sleeping man's throat.
Yeah,
They were
they're just like, eat
"Fucking
this.
Eat.
You won't
dickhead.
choke. It'll be fine. One day, that's definitely what you should do to people who are passed out. Cram food down their throat.
They might be hungry. You don't know.
One day, the prince awoke suddenly. Thanks to the critter's assistance, the healing process. Now I'm just thinking of like nurses.
Yeah. I literally,
just like
all right, time to
going
wake up.
into
Just
going into comatose patients' rooms and just like cramming food down their
like a burger.
and like
Yeah.
packing
Here's
it
a
in.
fucking turkey leg with like a broom handle.
Yeah,
like a plunger.
or like a plunger. It's just like go down.
Well,
Thanks to
Matt,
the
I hate
critter-
to
What?
I hate to break it to you this way, but that's exactly what happens in hospitals.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. I want to get a coma.
I want to get a
Thanks to the critter's
Sounds
assistance.
really good to do.
Thanks to the critter's assistance, the healing process had finished very quickly. The prince had fully recovered and was now fully awake and aware of his surroundings. Surprised by the sudden awakening, the critters ducked and hid from the prince's sight. One of the critters built up the courage to meet the now awake stranger. They crawled to the prince's side and extended their hand in friendship. The prince reached back, and together they had formed the bond that will change their fate. The critters led the prince out of the cave up to the top of the hill, and the prince had been buried under, and showed them the forest. This is our home, full of wonder and beauty, although the forest struggles to provide for all of its critters, and we are facing disaster. Can you help us? The prince stood back, spread his arms, and before him glowed a bright light. The mystical shapes and colors, lights and figures. The critters watched with wide eyes, such sublime brilliance. The prince completed his display.
Sublime.
just. I'm still thinking of the nurse.
The prince completed his display. He vowed with the power he had held and the help of his kingdom, he shall heal their home. And wait, there's a couple more that I have in my notes, so I had to dig these up out of my own notes.
Dig all up in there.
The prince gathered what he could and then set sail onward. Once the prince...
And that's it.
Wait, no. I feel like there's got to be one missing. There
Does it
may
make
be one
sense?
missing. I'm very sorry, but
That's okay.
You're
next one I
fucking
have-
up, bro.
clearly. So that's the end of the ones that we could get from the YouTube comments. So the next ones are the ones that I wrote in my notes, but I think there may be at least one between that and this. But the next one I've got is, the prince gathered what he could, and then he set sail onward. Once the prince returned home, they will come back to the island and return to the critters. And like, it's just a picture of the prince sailing away from the critters. So I assume what happened at this point is like, he gave them the magic or something and was like, all right, I'm fucking out, homie.
Later.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we know that story, do you want me to break it down a little bit, I guess?
I
Because
mean,
it's
if you-
pretty...
I have
if
no
you've
idea what the
read-
fuck is happening.
If you've watched all the videos and you line up things that are said in the story and things that happened in the plot or narrative of the videos, you should see some
Here,
similarities.
I know what's going on, but Doug, say it out loud in case.
Right.
All right, so
Jason
I
doesn't.
will TLDR the shit out of this. So
the glowy
the
light thing is the singularity, right?
yeah,
okay.
the prince is the singularity.
Right.
So the prince, that being said, the prince is the singularity, the critters are humans. We have the humans that wanted to interact with the singularity, and we have the humans that didn't. Obviously the humans that did, we can assume is the cult that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And the ones that didn't, we can assume are what
Just
maybe
everybody
be
else.
carcass.
Oh, right.
Right.
Carcass.
We can assume that. Basically, we see the singularity show up, and you know, it's asleep in Hudson Bay, and then people find it, and the shit basically starts to spread its seed. You know, all the crawl starts happening. We see all of the harvesters and the monoliths show up, basically to protect Hudson Bay, and keep the prince safe, or the singularity, because it's doing its part and it's healing the land, and it's, you know, providing essentially for its cultists and the earth itself,
Earth, the creatures. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's
and
a bay.
that
The flavor enhancer is just Old Bay.
It's all day. Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's just a real big metaphor for everything that we saw happen. All the flashing lights we see, all the like in some of the storybook photos, like the prince is like sailing on that ship like he was talking about, and the flag on the ship is literally just a circle with a upside down red triangle in the middle of it. Like all the imagery is there. And I think it's kind of neat. Like it's a cool little thing that
That's
like
really
kind of
cool.
tied the story together inside of the story. So like as the
That
things
is
were happening, you get the like as things were happening, you got a story page for like that was kind of guiding you along, right? And then there was one thing I wanted to say. I like that we've left off on like season 1, right?
Yeah.
Because as we know it right now, the singularity is just a prince,
That's all
and it
we know.
has not yet become king.
Correct.
And I like the idea of that quite a bit. Like, what more can the singularity do? We still don't really know much about the singularity. We don't know much about the monoliths, which honestly I think are probably the neatest creature out of all of them.
Same, especially when you learn that they weren't dropped, they grew.
Yeah.
Like they came out of the earth, and you're like, what?
And that's the other thing. We don't know if like the Vita Carnis is like an alien life form or not, you
Right.
know?
it could
and,
be
like,
from here.
Exactly. Like, where did the prince come from? Like, did it drop out of the sky? Like,
We don't know.
I don't know.
We have no
We
fucking
don't
idea.
fucking know.
We have more questions
What
than we
that
do
is?
answer. But
A distant
this
kingdom.
fucking what?
A distant kingdom. That's where the prince came from.
Oh.
Make that very clear.
A- Well, yeah, but we don't know if that's like
I thought you
space or,
said the
like,
galaxy
Testes
part
Middle
of
Kingdom.
Earth.
Tatooine.
Yeah.
War.
were
The
declared.
federal trade.
Tell my wife.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout outs to the fucking creator, or Darren.
Kaloy.
How do you say it?
Kaloy.
Kaloy.
I think.
This guy's got a fucking idea, and I think is executing
It's real
it
good.
Yeah.
wonderfully.
Real
I think
fucking
the great
good.
thing
Keep it
about
up.
this is like there's such a good idea here and there's so much going on. But so we've talked about that before, and I feel like a running trend is like, hey, they have this universe or this idea, and they have all these ideas, and then they just like shit out all these ideas, but they don't actually know what to do with them, and then it just kind of falls apart. I feel this is cohesive, which is great, and like I feel like they know what to do with these ideas instead of them just being like shit out and then just like never followed up on. So,
They definitely they planned this one, and they're accounting for everything, and I think that's really allowing them to like tell a story with this. Whereas a lot of like the analog horrors that seem good ideas but kind of ramshackle in their execution, like it keeps you interested at first, but then they kind of peter out over a while. Whereas this one, like Doug said, it leaves me wanting more. I need to know more about this shit. Like,
I love
come
that
on, give
it
me
does
more.
a lot of different things too, but it feels cohesive. So like
Yeah.
it does like the stereotypical analog horror shit, but then it also does machinima basically, and then it also does like found footage horror, and
Unfiction,
it does all that shit and crams it together in a way that works, which is awesome.
Yep.
And as like as kind of how much analog horror is being stuffed down our throats right now because of how like popular it's gotten.
Yeah.
I will say this is the kind of analog horror that I want more of. You know what I'm
Please.
saying? Like if you're gonna do something, let's get a mixture of. Let's not like I don't want to watch more training videos. I don't want to watch the newscast anymore. Like give me something new to work with, but still make it feel like analog horror, which I think this provides. But yeah, no, just going off of like wanting more. That last video, like it for me is when everything kind of clicked, like or started clicking a lot better. Because if you pause it at the right time, you see like them going into the little ritual room, and there's like I don't know if it's like a painting or if it's like 6 smaller singularity orbs, because when they're describing it, they almost describe the singularity as like another creature.
Yeah.
And not just maybe
Like
one
single.
Yeah, like I don't know if there's just one singularity or more,
It'd be
but
funny
like
if there were 2 singularities.
yeah.
That'd be great.
But either way, I was just like, fuck yeah. And then I was like, damn it, that's the last fucking video. And here
Now
we
we don't know.
are.
Yeah.
And here we are. What better way to say here we are than dilutipod.com?
Padooty.
Yeah, no, I think we all can agree this is a really good episode. And
Oh, fucking banger.
I think it helped rejuvenate analog horror as a whole, because it was getting a little stale for a bit.
It was getting dicey.
This helped juice it up a bit. So I'm gonna go out there and I'm just gonna say, if you like what you hear here, you can just go to diluti.com or dilutipod.com, whatever your
Yeah, you can
favorite
either
is.
fuck yourself there or at home.
Yeah,
Either one.
Hell yeah.
You could go to all our socials where dilutipod or Don't Look Under the Internet everywhere. Go to our website. It's got links for everything there. Become a member on the website. You can go to patreon.com/dilutipod. On the website and the Patreon, if you become a member on either of them, you get bonus material, bonus episodes,
Live
you get
recordings.
live recordings, all that
You
good
get
shit.
A guaranteed line to Mike's mother. I don't know who that's gonna entice, but
What? No.
You do
you
though.
can't talk to your
You
mom.
can see you can mingle with Mike's mom in the Discord.
Yeah, that's true. If you do
All
show
right.
up to the live recordings, you do be here, and you can.
she comes and supports her son, and can I just say that is the most uplifting and like
That's wholesome
Wholesome.
content.
Yeah,
Mom,
mom,
find a
mom,
hobby,
mom,
Mom.
in the Discord. I don't want my mom in the Discord. I really don't.
Yeah, Mom, you're embarrassing me. No, but I love my mom. Let's see what else is there. You can, again, this whole month, any
Yeah.
money that we bring in is going straight to charity.
it's going
So,
directly out.
you give us money on Patreon, you give us money on the website, you go to buymeacoffee.com/dilutipod. No matter where you give us the money, it's all going out this whole month,
Yep.
everything. And we're really excited for what we can
Hell yeah.
donate.
We got some creative ideas. We're about to hit a brainstorming session on a few things, so
Mhm.
definitely keep your eyes and ears peeled on
Keep your butt
socials.
ready for
keep
next-
your buttholes
and-
open.
and-
And
month.
your monkey tuggable.
Yeah, there you
keep
go.
your monkey tuggable.
And anyway,
Holy
so
shit!
you can also, I just completely lost my train of thought. Google phone number. There you go. Google phone number 630-909-9366.
tuggable for
You- you can-
Oh,
You can
I don't know why
send
I
us a
became
text
Vin
message.
Diesel. I
Yeah,
never knew
hate
my
this right
father.
now. I hate this.
family.
You want a Corona?
You can have any brew you want,
630-909-9366.
as long as it's a Corona, and
Just
as
a
long as you
Corona.
let me tug your monkey.
Send us a text or response. Send us a voicemail. We'll play it on the end of the show. You can also send us an email at deludipod@gmail.com. And if you're Liquid Death, you can send us a check via
Send me a flask, please.
The P.O. box in the
Yeah.
description.
P.O. Box in
Yep.
the description. Speaking of the P.O. Box in the description, if you want to send us any fun things, we will.
I'm regularly checking it now, so if you send us something and it sits for 5 months, it won't get sent back to you.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah. So send us some shit. Send us some Megamind DVDs, and it'll be a
Our
good
collection is growing.
time. Yeah, it's growing. Doug,
It's
move your
behind-
fat
dude,
head.
Move your fucking head, Doug.
There you go. Look at that. It's getting there. It's a stack.
Yeah.
Point to it, Doug. Yeah. See, it's a stack.
We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 Megaminds.
Hell yeah.
17 Megaminds.
Hell yeah, dude.
Who has more?
Um,
Comment in the
Yeah.
comments below.
yeah, give me them. I want to become the Guinness record holder for Megamind, but not the stupid, shitty show that they're making that's just gonna suck. They ruined Megamind. Anyway, I'm gonna end on that. They ruined Megamind.
Megamind is
But the
ruined
movie's still
forever.
great, so send me DVDs. Jason, what do you guys say to people? People.
As fucking always, stay paranoid. If you see some weird colored veins growing out of your floor or like your garden, just go ahead and put those right in your mouth. Just directly in there. That's it.
Tug those monkeys.
Okay.
Tug.
Doug.
Geez, where can I go with
Doug
this?
Tug.
Tug Doug.
Tug Doug.
All right.
No, Tugger.
I think we accidentally just erased Doug.
Yeah.
His
Who
brain's
was
gone.
that from South Park? Tugger.
Oh
The-
my god.
What?
From South Park. He's fighting around the world.
It's like fucking.
Oh,
this is like.
it's,
Russell
It's
Crowe?
Russell Crowe and his
Yeah.
little tugboat.
no,
Yes.
Tugger.
Holy shit, that's an old one.
I know, right? Doug, say something, people. We have to end
He
this.
erased his brain. We
Yeah,
can't-
seriously, I like shut down. I just hear the like Windows shutdown music going on. Yeah, but instead of slapping your peens and beans, figure out if slapping meat works.
Oh, just like any meat, like just
Specifically, trimming.
okay.
Put your
Slap
peens
your
and
meats
beans
and
on a
cheats.
trimming.
Right on it. Moot, what do you got for us and the folks at home?
For some reason, literally the only thought I can have now is Doug describing getting a hand job as getting a Doug tug, and I can't do anything else with my brain.
I-
So
yeah, I know.
all I got.
It broke me too, so there we are.
$40 gets you a Doug Tug.
and don't be confused. That does not mean Doug is going to give you a hand job.
No, you're gonna tug on Doug.
I need you.
It means
Right.
somewhere I'm getting tugged on.
Right.
That's great.
The Doug Tug. We have to. It's like a boat with your face on it. We have
Can
to
you
make.
can you make
this.
it like Thomas the Tank
right.
Engine
Yes.
though? Like my face is
I'm
like
going to-
actually coming out
have
of the
to
Going to
boat.
Mid Journey right now. Let's get this done.
Fucking Christ.
Fucking curse
On that
images
note,
part 2.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you long time.
We love your
Um,
long Tim.
You're long, Tim. Have a nice, wonderful day.
Me love you long, Tim.
Goodbye.
Time to look up a Doug Tug.
Bye.
Hi, you guys. I'm Griffin. I listen from Canada. I just wanted to say you guys were really cool, and you make my day so much better when I go for walks and listen to your podcast. I have 4 teeth for Orthon, if he so pleases to have them. Again, you guys are just so cool. I hope you guys have a good day.
Don't look under the internet.